Are the wheels of justice turning too slowly?
I think that if it keeps working the way it is now, there's going to be a lot of women in body bags.
Why some advocates say a speedy trial on assault charges would have saved a woman's life. And traffic stops are down and crashes are up.
Our lives are at risk.
How one Metro councilman believes we can put the brakes on this dangerous trend. Fox 17 News at 9 starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
LPRs make us safer.
Continuing coverage tonight on the debate over license plate readers here in Nashville. Good evening, everybody. I'm Scott Couch. On the heels of Metro Police Chief John Drake asking the mayor to fully implement an LPR program, some neighborhoods got tired of waiting and they installed the technology and paid for it themselves. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar now live in North Nashville at the North Precinct with more on this debate.
Scott, people at Harborview and Donaldson tell me they want license plate readers installed at every entrance of their neighborhood. They tell me if the mayor won't do anything, they will for public safety. In this Harborview community, residents say license plate readers will make them feel safer. Bart Smith is one of the people leading the charge and is also on the neighborhood's Homeowners Association board.
We had a lot of residents in the area that were worried about their safety. We had a security incident in the early summer. So really people were asking the HOA to do something about it.
He tells me the cost will be about $2,500 a camera annually with flock and extra for the poles. Safety, he says, is priceless.
People were saying, we can't feel like we're threatened in our own community.
After Chief John Drake called for LPRs to be implemented citywide, Smith tells me it is pushing his community to act.
You've heard me say it many times, and I'll say it again. LPRs make us safer.
Pointing to Metro Police Department's 6-month pilot program that led to more than 100 felony arrests. Even after Metro Council approved LPRs, Mayor Freddie O'Connell is still withholding funding, telling us it is because the policy needs to be fine-tuned.
We just received feedback this week from MMPD that we had been waiting on about our LPR policies, and we are intending to take that right back before the Metro Council.
It's a shame that we feel a need to do this, but I feel like you can't put a price on people's safety and their lives. And so as long as the mayor has yet to make a decision, we can fill that gap with doing our own thing.
Those in Harborview tell me they hope to get the license plate readers up by next month. We'll keep you updated. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
And that's an 85% drop in stops and 140 traffic fatalities.
In Operation Crime and Justice tonight, concerns about a significant drop-off in Metro Police traffic stops in recent years. Now this, as crashes and incidents involving pedestrians in our town are up. One Metro Councilman, Jeff Easley, you just heard from him, he is comparing our roads to the Wild Wild West. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker digging deeper into what these numbers mean for you.
In 2018, Metro Police made over 200,000 vehicle stops countywide. Now that number dropped significantly in the years to follow. Last year, MMPD made over 30,000 vehicle stops. Analyzing police records from the last 6 years, we found Metro Police traffic stops countywide have plummeted by 85% from 2018 to 2023. And during that same period, this email exchange between Metro Council member Jeff Easley and MMPD revealed a more than 50% rise in traffic deaths.
This seems to be a direct correlation. Fewer stops, more fatalities. And this wreck may be a great example of that.
Easley would like to see more traffic enforcement from MMPD. They say they're focused on precision policing, and their department continues to grow, but at the same time, so does the city. They'll also be deploying more resources to District 11.
Our lives are at risk when people are driving at any speed they wish without any fear of being pulled over.
Specifically in Eastley's district, this stretch of Old Hickory Boulevard was the scene of a very serious crash last week, injuring several people. Police say the driver at fault was driving 30 miles per hour over the speed limit and faces several charges, including reckless endangerment.
Old Hickory Boulevard is without a doubt the most dangerous road in my experience in 35 years of living in Nashville.
Old Hickory resident Blake Stewart says drivers in the area treat the road like a speedway with very little fear of repercussions.
And this morning we were running and there was a car easily at 5:15 in the morning, easily going 80 plus miles an hour.
Along with more enforcement, Stewart would like to see more traffic calming measures in place due to the presence of elementary schools and families who feel unsafe walking in the area. Now keep in mind, East Lake's district specifically has more vehicle stops than any other police precinct in the entire county. Police also say that his district specifically has seen an increase in stops and a decrease in crashes this year. But police still plan to add police by motorcycle in his district. For now, reporting in Nashville, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red Station.
Politics now, early voting off to a strong start, not only in Nashville, but across the state. It will continue through the end of the month. We got new numbers moments ago. Almost 17,000 people voted early in Nashville today alone. And local election leaders tell us there have been no reported problems thus far. Now, tonight's Fox 17 viewer poll on X asks if you know who you will vote for in the upcoming presidential election, which is 2 weeks from today unless you vote early. On 1,017 votes so far, almost 97% say yes, we know what we're going to do when we get to the ballot box. Only 3.2% say at this point they're undecided. Poll's live right now. If you'd like to weigh in, you can scan the QR code there on the right-hand side of the screen. It will link you to our poll on X, and we will show updated results for you coming up later in the newscast. New tonight, a show of support for one of the top local questions on the ballot in Nashville, that being the referendum on the mayor's Choose How You Move transit plan. You'll get to say yes or no. Members of NOAA, Nashville Organized for Action and Hope, and a coalition of other groups got together outside the Bordeaux Library today to endorse the transit plan, which includes new sidewalks, traffic lights that talk to each other, and expanded WeGo bus service. Several council members, past and present, were on hand. The ask in this referendum is for a half-cent sales tax increase to pay for it.
I will agree with some of the opposers that this is a regressive sales tax. However, I think that the mayor and Metro Council has been very thoughtful in trying to keep it as low as they could.
That's Brenda Gilmore. She represented the Bordeaux area both in the Metro Council and the State Senate before retiring from politics a few years back. It's important to note the current council representative for that area, Bordeaux, Joey Kimbrough, is against the mayor's transit plan. Right now, an effort to bring a professional baseball team to Rutherford County. This would not be Major League Baseball. It would be an independent team instead. Fox 17 News' Johnny Mathey shows us what it would take to make this happen and how this team, if it happens, could revitalize that area.
We're here at Canonsburg Village in the borough, and this historic site would be incorporated if plans were to go through, and we are learning that there is an ownership group behind this proposal. The group Save Canonsboro turned into home run history when an ownership group brought this proposal to the table. They're involved with the American Association Pro Baseball League. Now, if Major League Baseball comes to Nashville eventually, if they still say anything's possible with a minor league team at this spot, one person behind the petition is Murfreesboro native Lisa Cisco.
People would be able to park off-site in downtown, parking garages, walk across. It's a very short one-block walk, and just enter the park through Canonsburg.
Now, there's a lot more information on homerunhistory.com, and Fox 17 did learn that some new renderings will be coming out next month. We'll certainly be showing you those on air and online. In Murfreesboro, Johnny Mathey, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, the sun was shining on Johnny this morning. It was pleasant all day long. Seems like we're going to have a pleasant night. We're just sort of stuck in a very nice little pattern.
Scott, we are just stuck. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Dead center stuck in this pattern. It has been nothing but dry for the past several days now, and it's just going to stay dry too as we head into these next several days.
That's the only bad part. Everything else is great. We just need some rain.
I know, we do need some rain. We are still in the hole, and thankfully we did get that rain with Helene, because we haven't seen an ounce of rain here in Nashville or really across most of Middle Tennessee since late September. It has just been totally dry, and we are actually on track to possibly break the record if we don't get a single drop of rainfall here in Nashville. The official reading comes from the airport. That's going to be the only month in Nashville's recorded history that it has totally stayed dry for the entire month, and that's just any month, not just October. The last time we were even close to that was actually in October back in 1963. We only got a trace of rainfall back then, so just extremely dry, and we're going to stay dry too as we go through the rest of the night. No rain on radar right now. A very nice night though if you have any late night plans tonight. 62 degrees right here in Nashville. Here's your live look over Broadway. A good night for that. Clear skies. No bad weather at all that you're going to have to deal with tonight. Temperatures there in the lower 50s to the mid 60s. We have a few lower 50s near the plateau. 52 in McMinnville. South of that, Tullahoma at 52 as well. Dickson coming in a little bit warmer, 64 there, 66 in Camden. Clarksville at 65. Hopkinsville currently at 68. But as we go through the next few days, like we were just talking, it's just more of the same, a very boring pattern that we're in. We're going to stay warmer than normal. We're going to stay dry with plenty of sunshine too. And then a couple of days, we could be looking at record high temperatures possible. I'll let you know when we could expect that and when we get a very brief cool down. All those details coming up for you here in just a bit.
Also, we had a man accused of hunting down an ex-girlfriend and beating her to death after getting out of jail. Why some say our justice system is partly to blame. And pinning down a plan what the presidential candidates say they'll do about immigration if you elect them. Fox 17 News investigates the brutal murder of Lauren Johansson. This is a story Fox 17 News has been getting answers on for months. Tonight we're asking if Johansson would still be alive if the man charged with killing her had been tried more quickly for an earlier assault. Advocates say he should have been convicted already instead of being released on bond. Fox 17 News' Kelly Avellino uncovering Davidson County's increasingly slow court system when it comes to domestic violence cases.
Bryson Rivers is still waiting to be tried for allegedly beating Lauren Johansson last December while on a trip to Nashville. During the months-long wait for a trial, Rivers was released on bond and detectives say able to beat Johansson to death in Mississippi.
Why wasn't he already tried and found guilty? There would not have been an opportunity to reduce that bond, and none of this would have happened. To me, that's the biggest point in this.
Metro Office of Family Safety Director Diane Lance says domestic violence cases move way too slowly through Davidson County courts, typically weakening the outcome for the victim. And Fox 17 News found that delay is getting worse. The average number of days it takes a domestic violence defendant out on bond to get a judgment in a Davidson County court went from 186 days in 2013 to 361 days in 2023. That's 175 additional days of survivors waiting. And Johansson father says put at severe risk.
I think that if it keeps working the way it is now, there's going to be a lot of women in body bags.
You have an offender that gets to remain in control of their victim during that time. That offender most often is escalating at a rate faster than the system can keep up.
And in Davidson County, 48% of violent crime is domestic. Lance is now pushing for courts to fast-track high-risk domestic violence cases. For example, ones that involve strangulation, often an indicator of worse things to come. She also says less busy circuit court judges should take on more domestic cases and that judges must be tougher in not allowing continuances, often used as a delay tactic by the defense.
Every single judge needs to be able to know when a case is being continued for really no good reason.
So who's in charge of making these changes? Lance says county judges would likely have to take a vote. She's now publicly advocating for swifter justice, where she says delays could result in death.
The criminal justice system failed Lauren, in my opinion, and failed her family, in my opinion.
The Office of Family Safety has an action plan for these court system changes and is presenting it to Metro Council this month for support. I'll be watching how the judges and all of those involved in the court system respond and what changes come about. I'm Kelly Avellino for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, it was a really nice day for us. It sounds like a broken record, just more of the same. We've been on this same trend for the past few weeks now of just totally dry, plenty of sunshine. We've seen a couple of days where we have seen our temperatures drop down a little bit lower, but overall it has just been very warm for us too. Temperatures well above normal. That's what we had today. We had 81 degrees earlier this afternoon. Our average high temperature this time of year here in Nashville, we're in the lower 70s. We're only 10 degrees off or so from our average high temperature, 62 degrees. That's our current temperature right now here in Nashville. Mostly clear skies, and that's how we're going to stay too as we head through the next several days. I don't think we're looking at much of a rain chance at all. Some big time heat on the way too. This is the map for Wednesday, all the way from parts of Texas on up into southern Illinois. We could be looking some of those areas going 20 degrees above normal for this time of year, and we're going to get some of that heat for tomorrow too. All that's going to change, at least for a little bit, once we hit into Thursday, but this cold front is going to move through on Wednesday. That's going to bring us in some cooler air as we head on into Thursday, but still not going to drop us down a whole lot for Thursday. 84 degrees, the forecast high temperature for us on Wednesday. That's going to be below normal, or below the record for October 23rd. 75 degrees, the forecast high temperature on a Thursday. That's going to be about 10 degrees below the record. I don't think we're going to be looking at record high temperatures then, but by Friday, that could be the day where we do get above record temperatures. So 87 degrees, my forecast high temperature for Friday. The record is 84. That was set back in 1973. So I think Friday we could be talking about record high temperatures. It's going to be a very warm day here across Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky on a Friday. Looking at radar, not seeing any sort of rainfall going on. It is all clear for us. There's that cold front that's headed our way. That's the one that's going to move through Wednesday, and that's going to bring us that slightly cooler air down to the mid-70s on a Thursday. But it's going to be a dry frontal passage. We're not going to get any sort of rainfall with that. I think we're going to stay totally dry. We might just get a few more clouds Tuesday night or tonight and the Wednesday morning, but that's about it. Otherwise, just totally dry conditions for us. We'll stay dry through the rest of Thursday, and then as we head on into Friday too, just more of the same. A very late Friday night and the early Saturday morning, we could try to get just a couple of light isolated showers up here in our northwestern areas, but I think that's going to be very few and far between. Most areas on Friday into Saturday, we're going to keep it all dry, and those dry conditions stick around through the rest of Saturday, and it's going to stay that way too as we head on into Sunday, even into early this upcoming week. So Monday and Tuesday, I still think we're looking at drier than normal conditions as well. A quick look at the tropics. This is now the remnants of Oscar. That's not going to cause anybody any issues. 35-mile-an-hour winds with that. That was Hurricane Oscar at one point, made landfall in Cuba, and now it's just kind of just falling apart. 54 degrees your overnight low temperature for tonight. Mostly clear skies. Going to be a very nice night for you. If you have any plans for tomorrow, still looking at a very good day tomorrow too. By noon, we'll start it out in the upper 70s. We'll get plenty of sunshine at noon tomorrow, and then by 3, we'll stay sunny with temperatures in the lower 80s. Tomorrow is going to be warmer than normal for this time of year, and then by 6 p.m., we're still almost near 80 degrees. I'll show you more on that 7-day forecast and what your upcoming weekend is looking like here in just a bit.
I'm Christine Frizzell with a breakdown on the border. A closer look at what Kamala Harris and Donald Trump plan to do as president.
Illegal immigration, the rush to our southern border, one of the hottest topics right now in the upcoming presidential campaign. Tonight, Fox 17 News' Christine Frizzell takes a look at what each of the candidates says they'll do about it if you elect them.
Former President Donald Trump holding what he calls a Latino summit for Latino business leaders in Miami, who cited the trafficking of child migrants and their faith as key factors in supporting him.
Today, Lord, we lift up the man that we believe you've put your hand upon to help restore America.
Trump also taking part in a Univision town hall last week, trying to reach members of a group polls show have shifted in part to him, despite threats like sending members of the military to help patrol the border.
We have to go back to 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil.
A second Trump term expected to see a resurrection of policies from his first, like Remain in Mexico and restarting construction of the border wall, plus a new program he's touted repeatedly on the campaign trail.
Immediately upon taking the oath of office, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history.
Donald Trump has criticized the Biden-Harris administration, which oversaw a record number of illegal crossings, blaming Harris in particular for inaction. Harris has endorsed the bipartisan border bill, which would continue some more restrictive asylum policies, add 1,500 Customs and Border Protection personnel, and 100 new immigration judges. She has slammed Trump repeatedly for his role in blocking the bill from being passed.
He picked up the phone and called some friends in Congress and said, stop the bill. Because you see, he prefers to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And the American people deserve a president who cares more about border security than playing political games and their personal political.
Harris also supports protecting those brought to the U.S. as children, known as Dreamers, and helping them earn a pathway to citizenship, but has pivoted away from former progressive policies like closing detention facilities and limiting deportations.
We must support and enforce federal law, and that is exactly what we will do.
A brand new Reuters Ipsos poll reveals this issue remains top of mind. When asked what the next president should focus on the most in their first 100 days, those surveyed ranked immigration as the #1 issue. In Washington, I'm Christine Frizzau.
Still to come tonight on Fox 17 News at 9, avoiding vaccines, why a growing number of American parents are just saying no. And crushing the opioid crisis, how local health leaders say a little help from you could make a big difference all over. New tonight, the former CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch is facing charges related to sex trafficking. Police in Palm Beach, Florida, arrested Michael Jeffries this morning along with his longtime romantic partner Matthew Smith. A federal indictment accuses this duo and a former employee named James Jacobson of flying models around the world for sex parties. Smith and Jacobson are also accused of trading modeling work for sexual favors.
The defendants employed a referral system and an interview process that did not inform the men of the details of the sex events before they attended, including the full extent and nature of the sexual activity that would be required of the men at these events.
Now, at the moment, there are 15 known alleged victims in this case, but the FBI believes there are likely more, and they are encouraging others to come forward. In health news tonight, despite recent outbreaks of preventable diseases like the measles and whooping cough, stats show that fewer kindergartners are getting routine vaccinations at the doctor's office. Fox 17 News' Amanda Chen examines the data and the potential impact.
It's an alarming trend. During the 2023-24 school year, national kindergarten coverage with state-required vaccinations dropped to 93%, down from 95% between 2019 and 2020 school year, before the COVID-19 pandemic.
It's enlightening and not surprising with what we've been through in the last 4 years.
Dr. Jason Newland with Nationwide Children's Hospital says many infectious and preventable diseases aren't as prevalent anymore, thanks to routine vaccines. But some are making a comeback. For example, this year alone, a total of 269 measles cases have been reported in more than 30 U.S. states as of October 17th. The CDC says 88% of those patients were either unvaccinated or their vaccination status is unknown.
Measles can be extremely dangerous, leading to life-threatening illnesses.
The CDC says vaccination is also the best defense against pertussis, but preliminary data shows more than 5 times as many cases have been reported at this time of year when compared to the same time last year.
Maintaining our vaccine rates, whether it's measles, whether it's pertussis, whether it's influenza, whether it's COVID, will make our society and our most vulnerable healthy and our future healthy.
I'm Amanda Chen reporting for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
The Centers for Disease Control also says the vaccine exemption rate has increased from before the pandemic as well. Looking ahead to Saturday, when TriStar Health wants you to drop off your unused medication to keep it from falling into the wrong hands. It's all a part of TriStar's Crush the Crisis campaign. And joining us now with more on this is Dr. Jeffrey Hodrick, who's an orthopedic surgeon who also helped to start Crush the Crisis. Dr. Hodrick, first of all, thank you for joining us. And I know unused drugs can be problematic on several fronts. Tell us why you think an effort like the one that you're spearheading is so important.
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, thank you for
shedding some light on this topic. I think it's an important one. You know, oftentimes problems are so large, including the opioid epidemic, that we really don't know how we can help. And I think everyone has probably been touched by this, whether it's a close family member, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a colleague at work that has a relative that's been touched by the opioid crisis over the past few years. This is a way that you can make a difference. You can look in your medicine cabinets, look in your bathrooms, look in your closets for medicines that are unused or expired, and anonymously get rid of them out of your home.
Tell us how this would work on Saturday. There's a couple of TriStar hospitals fairly close to my house, so I come there. Do we go to the ER? Where do we go?
Yeah, I think the signage will be pretty clear once you get there. There are several, like you mentioned, TriStar facilities across Middle Tennessee. We've partnered with local law enforcement. They'll be there with a big collection bin. It'll be pretty obvious because there'll be police officers there. And really, it's just a drive-by. There's no names taken. Like I said, it's anonymous. You can just bring a bag of medicine, hand it to the police officer, and then walk away. It's really a simple process. It runs from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock on Saturday morning. So grab your morning coffee when you're out running your errands, maybe clean out the cabinets on Friday or maybe early Saturday morning, and maybe go for a walk after that.
And quickly, I know there's also an environmental component. You don't really want these drugs winding up in the landfill or flushed down the commode.
Yeah, I think there's some danger certainly in trying to put them in a landfill or put them in the garbage. Of course, other people could find them. We certainly don't want family members or fall into the wrong hands. A lot of problems that happen with opioids and opioid overdose unfortunately happen when prescription medicines end up in someone else's hands. Putting it in a water supply is not a good idea either. So I'd caution you against kind of flushing it down the toilet or putting it in the sink. If you can't make the event on Saturday, again, there are plenty of collection places now. Police officers, police stations have them, pharmacies have them, even a CVS or a Walgreens.
Dr. Hondrick, best of luck with the collections on Saturday, and thank you for joining us to kind of explain things this afternoon.
Appreciate the support. Thank you.
Tomorrow is going to be another day of above normal temperatures for us. Here in Nashville, I think we're going to be able to reach to the mid-80s. And if we hit 84, that's going to put us just about 3 degrees shy of the record and average high temperature this time of year for us here in Nashville, 71 degrees. So we might be going 13 degrees above normal for the high temperature tomorrow for this time of year. So tomorrow just shaping up to be another really nice day for you. If you have any outdoor plans, a great day for that. And really any day the rest of the week and this weekend, even in the early next week, all looking good, just a little bit different. So tomorrow, mid-80s. Thursday, we cool down. The cold front's going to move through later tomorrow. That's going to drop us down to the mid-70s Thursday. We bounce back very quickly, though, up to 87 on Friday. That could be a record. And then we cool off just a little bit for the weekend. Sunday, we're at 73, mid to upper 70s for early this upcoming week. As far as any rain chance goes, I really don't think we're going to be looking at much of a rain chance at all. We might get a few showers early Saturday morning for our more northwestern counties, kind of around the Clarksville area. But even then, that's looking very slim. I think it's going to be a very dry pattern that we're in for at least the next 7 days.
Just ahead, a long time coming, the honor of a lifetime for former Preds general manager David Poile. And not a guarantee why you need to keep an eye on newly purchased tickets from Ticketmaster. In sports tonight, it was a special day for Preds former general manager David Poile. His former team helping get him ready for the Hockey Hall of Fame, getting fitted for the jacket that he'll wear when he's taken into the Hall. Poile's going to be inducted into the Hockey Hall next month. He will go in as what they call a builder after becoming the winningest general manager in league history. Poile, I should say, the very first Preds general manager after serving time previously with the Washington Capitals. Now get this, he is the only GM in the league to ever lead 2 clubs to 1,000 games and 500 wins. Fox 17 sports director Jill Jelnick talked with Poile today about this special honor.
Congratulations, Hockey Hall of Fame. We've talked a lot the last couple weeks about how you've impacted this franchise throughout your career, but how would you describe the impact that the Preds have had throughout your life?
That's a great question because, I took this job. I had an opportunity probably to go somewhere else, but this was brand new. My dad had been the general manager of 2 expansion franchises in Philadelphia and Vancouver, and I love the stories he told and the fact that he says whether it's good or bad, you're going to have your handprints over everything, and it couldn't have turned out any better. Yes, I think I've been a factor in what's happened here in Nashville and the growth of hockey and the acceptance of the Predators and the National Hockey League and all of that. But again, it's sort of like charity, you know, where they say the more you give, the more you get. And like I couldn't be happier with my relationship with the players, the fans, the continued fact that I'm, you know, kind of an advisor with the club. So it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Such a sweet man. So happy for him. The official Hall of Fame ceremony just over 2 weeks away, November the 11th.
Today was another very calm and quiet day for us. We have a cold front that is headed our way. I'll let you know what that cold front is going to do to our weather coming up here after the break.
Also ahead, ticket trouble, why your recent purchase of tickets from Ticketmaster may not guarantee you a seat. A consumer alert tonight involving Ticketmaster. If you're planning to see a show, a concert, some other kind of event, and you bought tickets on this popular site, keep a close eye on the purchase. As Casey Arsenault shows us tonight, some people are reporting that their tickets have been resold without their consent.
My heart literally dropped.
I was angry, I was upset, I was confused.
My phone went off. I had 2 notifications come through from Ticketmaster.
I got an email saying my tickets have been transferred.
Kaylee Menzel and Michael Davis, they don't know each other. They aren't headed to the same venue, not even seeing the same event. Their common denominator? Ticketmaster. Kaylee was taking her dad to a Bengals game in a couple weeks at Paycor and heading to the Taylor Swift concert in November in Indy with her mom. Tickets for this quality time, a total of $1,600. And Michael, he was excited to go to Heritage Bank for the Jelly Roll concert with his girlfriend, shelling out close to $400 for the tickets, all of it gone.
Last thing I heard from Ticketmaster was that it's going to be another 24 to 48 hours before an agent is going to be reaching out to me.
From 24 to 48 hours, I was supposed to hear back. I hadn't heard back.
That has been told to me every 48 hours.
So then I waited 3 to 5 business days. Didn't hear back. This continued for about 3 to 5 times. I've called them about 6 times total.
And this story isn't unlike many others. If you go on TikTok, there's dozens of users that are complaining about this same problem, from an Adele concert to a Sabrina Carpenter concert.
My Taylor Swift tickets and my Morgan Wallen tickets got stolen from my Ticketmaster account.
If you go on Ticketmaster's Facebook page, no matter what post they put up, there's comments underneath this complaining about the same exact problem and the fact that they can't get in touch with anyone from Ticketmaster about it. And while all this is going on Ticketmaster's website, they have a warning on there about a third-party data security incident in which emails and other personal information could have been exposed.
Could it be related? I think it could. The breach occurred because they used a platform called Snowflake. Snowflake is a third-party data analysis tool. A lot of companies use it. They took data from their systems, put it into a third-party system, and that's where it was stolen.
Cybersecurity expert Dave Hatter says that breach could have contributed to the uptick in cases. So I reached out to Ticketmaster. While they went radio silent for Michael and Kaylee, we got a response. In fact, we got them their tickets back. In that same email, Ticketmaster denied it's their fault or that the security incident had anything to do with it. In fact, they blamed the customer, saying people need to keep their emails and accounts secure with better passwords.
We're smart with our passwords. A little odd that everybody's email, no matter what email provider you use, could have been the reason for it.
Far-fetched as that may sound, I think it's absolutely reasonable, and I think it probably is the most likely scenario.
Hatter explains that a lot of people don't really understand what a strong password is.
The people that were hacked, did they have a password like blue-billed platypus that eats ice cream? I doubt it. Was it more than 8 characters long? I doubt it.
Regardless of where the fault lies, the experience has left an impression that will last much longer than the concert or the big game.
As of right now, we're never going to use them again. Ticketmaster seems to be the common denominator for everyone, so it's hard to actually trust what they're saying.
All right, let's talk about your weather. Breakfast weather coming up. It's been fairly chilly the last couple of mornings, but then by afternoon, it is so pleasant.
So pleasant. You know, I think tomorrow morning might be a little bit warmer than what we have, but you're absolutely right. We've had the kind of the cool mornings, the very nice afternoons, and it's just more of the same. I mean, these afternoons for the rest of the week, just looking really, really, really good. 62 degrees right now here in Nashville. There's a live look over Broadway. Still clear, and that's exactly how we're going to stay. We have not seen a drop of rain here in Nashville since the start of the month. And we may make it all month long without any rainfall right here. We might get a system that tries to move through early November, and we might get some rainfall with that. So we're going to keep our eye out on that. But until then, rain chances very slim. It's going to get warm tomorrow too. Areas from about Dallas on up to the Little Rock, Arkansas area, we could be looking at record high temperatures possible there, and then a wide area around that, all the way from parts of Texas on up into parts of southern Illinois. We could be looking at temperatures 20 degrees above normal for those locations. Here, we're going to be way warmer than normal, probably not 20 degrees, maybe about 13, 14 degrees above normal across parts of Middle Tennessee. But then this cold front is going to move through later in the day tomorrow, and behind that cold front, it's going to drop our temperatures down briefly for Thursday, but then we're going right back up for Friday. We could be talking about record high temperatures on Friday. My forecast high temperature 87. That would break the record. The record is 84. That was set back in 1973. So Friday is going to be a warm day. Wednesday is going to be a warm day. Thursday we're still going to be above normal, but 10 degrees shy of the record. There's the cold front that I was just talking about. It's already moving through part of the country right now, pushing in close to the Missouri area. That's going to keep on sliding down to the southeast. And with that, we're not looking at much of a rain chance. It might increase cloud cover a little bit out ahead of that as we head on into the overnight hours tonight, but no rain with that. That should be a dry frontal passage for us, staying all dry with that. And then as we head on into Thursday, Friday, I think we're still going to be talking about dry conditions. Early Saturday morning, we may get a few showers that try to form up here in our more northwestern areas. That's going to be about it, though, and even that's going to be a slim chance. So I think there's a good chance we still keep it dry as we go through this weekend on into early next week, too. And again, we may be having to wait till early November before we get that next better chance for any rainfall here across parts of Tennessee or Kentucky. Another look down here in the tropics. This is the remnants now of what was Hurricane Oscar. It made landfall in Cuba and now has just made a straight line northeast off into the Atlantic Ocean. We're not going to have to worry about any sort of bad weather back closer to home with Oscar. Tonight, 54 degrees, mostly clear skies, winds, they'll be out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, if you have any outdoor plans, pumpkin patch, dog walking, exercising, anything you want to do, just fantastic weather. Upper 70s for the start of the afternoon. About 3 p.m. we're in the lower 80s, and then by 6 p.m. we'll have temperatures in the upper 70s still. Going with 84 for the high tomorrow, 75 on Thursday behind that cold front, but it's not going to stick around that cooler air for long. Friday, 87, and then Saturday and Sunday, those temperatures are fluctuating a little bit, but right now we're going to go with upper 70s for Saturday, lower 70s on Sunday. Mostly sunny and dry for us on Sunday, and then early next week we'll keep it mostly sunny and dry. High temperatures in the mid to upper 70s Monday and Tuesday.
Trouble at the Golden Arches, the McDonald's menu item that's making people sick. A consumer alert tonight involving McDonald's Quarter Pounders. The Food and Drug Administration says an E. coli outbreak has been traced back to those particular burgers. One person's been killed and they made nearly 50 other people sick. 10 states are impacted right now. The majority of the cases, though, are in Colorado and Nebraska. So far, there are no reported issues in Tennessee or Kentucky. A specific ingredient has yet to be identified as causing the problem, but the CDC is focusing on slivered onions and beef patties. A tragedy unfolds on camera, the circumstances surrounding a helicopter crash involving a radio tower in Texas. Caught on camera, the tragic moment when a tour helicopter crashes into a Texas radio tower and then bursts into flames. At the top of your screen, you can see the radio tower just standing out in Houston, but there you see the blinking light and the helicopter. Well, that large flash is the impact. The crash killed all 4 people that were on board at the time. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating what went wrong.
With just 2 weeks to go before the race for the White House is over, some of the attention is now shifting to election integrity. I'm Matt Gelka in Washington, and I'll explain coming up.
Hey there, everybody, feeling stressed out? Yeah, lots of us are these days. I'm Liz Bonus. We are going to tell you about cortisol face, something linked to the stress hormone, just ahead.